Have you ever wondered how someone learns to do something really high stakes, like fly a jet or perform surgery, without the terrifying risk of making a mistake? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. How we're all learning to master the real world by practicing inside virtual ones. We're going to look at how trailblazing organizations like Artie Sierra's Tech are building the factories of the future, not for making products, but for manufacturing expertise itself.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with this idea of a virtual creative factory. Then we're going to rewind a bit to see how we even got here. After that, we'll break down the modern tech toolkit, see who's using it and why, talk about the hurdles, and then, finally, take a look at what's next on the cloud-based horizon.
Okay, let's get right into it. Our journey starts with a really cutting-edge concept, one that's being championed by an organization called Artie Sierra. So they call it the Virtual Creative Factory, and the idea behind it is pretty fascinating. Picture a factory that doesn't churn out physical things, it actually manufactures professional skills. And what really makes their vision a potential game changer is how they pull all these advanced tools together. We're talking virtual reality, AI, even new stuff like AI glasses, all into one place where expertise can be built, literally, from the ground up.
I know, this all sounds incredibly futuristic, right? But believe it or not, the idea of building skills inside a machine, well, it isn't new at all. To really appreciate what the Virtual Creative Factory is doing, we've got to look back at the long journey that made it all possible.
So to see how we got here, we need to trace this incredible evolution, all the way from clunky mechanical trainers to the super immersive digital worlds we have today.
This whole story really kicks off way back in 1927 with something called the Link Trainer. It was basically a mechanical box that, for the first time, let pilots practice flying just by using their instruments, without ever leaving the ground. Then, you fast forward to the space race in the 60s, and you've got NASA using these early digital simulators to get astronauts ready for the Apollo missions. And today? Well, today, we've landed in an era of immersive VR and AI that create training worlds so realistic your brain can't even tell the difference.
I mean, the leap we've made is just incredible. We went from these machines with gears and really simple feedback to fully immersive digital worlds. We've traded out limited physical controls for AI that adapts to you in real time, and haptic feedback that lets you feel the simulation. It is truly a night and day difference.
So, what's actually in this modern toolkit? What are the core technologies that make these hyper-realistic training environments tick?
First up, the big one. Virtual reality, or VR. This is the cornerstone. A VR headset gives you that complete 360-degree view that basically tricks your brain into feeling like you're physically there. It doesn't matter if you're in a pretend cockpit or a virtual OR, that feeling of presence is what makes the training stick. Next up, you've got artificial intelligence. This is the smart part of the whole setup. AI is what makes something called adaptive learning possible. So if you're crushing a task, the system can make it harder. If you're struggling, it might give you a hint or make things a little easier. It's not one size fits all anymore. It's like having a personal coach. And finally, we've got haptic feedback. Now, this is the tech that lets you actually touch the virtual world. It's what allows you to feel the resistance on a joystick, the texture of a button, or the vibration of an engine. And that is absolutely crucial for building the muscle memory you need for complex, hands-on tasks.
Okay, so now we know what the tech is. But let's talk about the so what. Why does it matter so much? What's the real-world impact of being able to practice basically anything, anytime, with zero real-world risk?
Well, the list of who's using this stuff is incredible, and it's growing every day. We're talking aviation, where pilots have relied on simulators for decades. Medicine, where surgeons can practice complex procedures virtually. The military uses it for combat exercises, but it's also maritime captains, heavy machinery operators, even professional athletes trying to sharpen their game.
And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it all. Simulators give you a safe space to fail. When you take away the fear of real-world consequences, people are free to experiment, to push their own boundaries, and to really master a skill through trial and error.
But, as powerful as this technology is, it's not perfect. To get to a point where everyone can access this kind of high-level simulation, we still got to clear some pretty significant hurdles. There are really three main barriers. First, these systems are just plain expensive to develop. Second, trying to perfectly copy all the little details of reality, especially touch and feel, that's incredibly hard. And third, most of these advanced systems require specialized, local hardware, which limits who can actually use them. But the good news is, solutions are popping up for all of these.
and one in particular is poised to be a total game changer.
And that brings us to the next great leap forward in this whole story. The technology that promises to smash through those barriers and bring elite training to the masses, cloud computing.
See, the power of the cloud is that it moves simulation away from needing a giant, expensive machine sitting in the room with you. It allows for global connection, so a trainee in one country can be in the same session as an instructor halfway across the world. It makes this stuff accessible to remote learners. Basically, it's transforming simulation from a niche, expensive tool into a universal resource.
And that brings our whole journey full circle, doesn't it? This cloud-based future is exactly what makes that virtual creative factory vision truly possible. It's the key that unlocks a world where expert training is not only realistic, but also accessible and affordable for pretty much everyone, everywhere.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We are stepping into an era where practice is no longer limited by risk, or by cost, or by where you happen to live. It's becoming this limitless universal resource. So the real question isn't about the technology anymore. It's about us. When practice is infinite, what happens to human potential?